Hey guys, it's me again, Orcslayer What Ifs, and I'll be doing a bit of the next Deku What If a bit early. And for those of you guys who have watched me before, you guys know I most likely like to do like a minimum of 10 parts before I switch over to the like What If Dekus and back to the What If Bells. But I just feel like I'm sort of rushing through the what if Belle was a young Gandalf. Because I put a lot of time between how old how like old I typically make them, which is like in their 20s. And I feel like I'm just doing a lot of skips through time. And I don't know if you guys are okay with that, but I feel like I need to just not come up with ideas, but toss up a few actual ideas around. I don't write things down, I think of things, and then as I talk, they sort of just fall in place as they are. Now, for this What If Deku, it is What If Deku was the meta from Red vs. Blue. If you guys have seen Red vs. Blue, good on you. And for those you don't, in the idea of the meta was originally a guy called Agent Main. And there were things called AIs, artificial intelligence, that were made from a bigger AI called Church or the Alpha. That is what they called him, or many of his names. And through torture, quote unquote, like AI abuse is technically what it is called, he started to shed parts of himself, since he's pretty much data. Started getting rid of parts of his personality. First started with logic, then started with anger, and then it just went from there to there. Just try and save himself or keep him sane, and not to go rampant is what my guess. Where I'm going to be doing this is, well, you'll see how this what if turns out, of what if Deku was the meta. So I'm going to start with where Deku is born. He has a variety. His quirk is very multi-based. Instead of just being like gravity and such, he has a quirk that does multiple things, but they are just very weak. So does anyone know what a psychic is? They can put up erect barriers, increase physical strength, increase their speed. They can do a lot of things. They can also regenerate and stuff. So a lot of stuff that the AIs can do, they can do as well. But he has just very weak versions of these. His shield can barely stop rocks before it completely breaks. His super speed only makes him go a tiny bit faster. His increasing strength barely does anything. He is so weak compared to so many other heroes that it doesn't even do anything. Deku gets bullied, like I say, his quirk is revealed. Everyone somewhat thinks of it as cool, but it is very weak. As he even tries to stop Bakugo with his weak quirk, but when he goes to put up his shield, it just gets blasted to shreds. Then when he goes to punch his Bakugo, he just gets blasted again. And he tried to speed up, but he's just outmatched with Bakugo's explosions, considering he may have multiple quirks, but they are just so weak that it isn't even funny. That is what's up. He's able to heal himself slightly, because I believe regeneration is one of the things that not the AI, but a psychic can do. That being said, what happens now is Deku gets bullied relentlessly throughout his entire years at school. And, as you know, we're going to pick this off when it's 13. Bakugo has bullied him his entire life. But one of the only things that was good for him was his friend Allison, or as Red vs. Blue knows her as Texas. Her thing was that she was superhuman, like a super soldier kind of. Increased physical abilities and faster and everything. She was there as sort of like Belle's friend during those entire time. They grew up together. Deku even started to like her, like with feelings like that. They were pretty much inseparable, spending every single day together. The day is the day Bell confesses his feelings. Tex feels the same way, but she's bad at expressing her emotions in that case. As they both agree to, it starts off great. They have fun, they're technically in love, like sort of that. Bakugo still bullies Deku relentlessly. And Deku isn't this like weak little kid. He has done a little bit of training, so that way, even if his quirk is weak, he himself doesn't have to be. So he's trained himself to fight in hand to hand in combat. He's also like been reading up and thinking of ways to like for gadgets he could use to be a hero. So that way he doesn't have to rely on his quirks. That's what he's looking into. Tex believes that in hard work you can accomplish pretty much anything. That is what she believes, and she's pushing Deku as well. As they're going out one day, just the two of them, they start talking about UA, and Tex does want to go. She's talking about how, like, she's always wanted to be a hero even when she was younger. Bell agrees that they were happy, and that he agrees that he's always wanted to be a hero, and out of the two, both of them, he believes Tex is probably the one who could do it the best. In the sense that she's the strongest out in the entire school, even when it compared to Bakugo, with her speed and strength, she can easily keep up with him, maybe even surpass him, is what Deku says to her. It's like, don't knock yourself too short, Deku. You can always get better and stronger, even if your quirk isn't everything. It's like, yeah, I know. He's happy, though. He's truly happy. Then this messed up stuff happens. Guess what? A shooting. A villain attack, whichever you prefer. The villain just goes insane and just... Not a villain, but a couple of guys attack them all, you could say. As they attack them all, Tex, you could say, is caught in the crossfire. Deku sees this happening and literally tries to help Tex, but as they were running away, Deku fell, and as he was trying to recover, Tex jumps in front of him, helps Deku as they run, and gets him to cover. He's like, Tex, are you okay? As he looks at her, bullet wounds in her chest and in her back. It's like, no, come on, Tex, come on. As he like pulls her close, come on, Tex, come on, you can handle this, just wait a minute. As he's looking around, like shouting out for help. As a few heroes arrive on the scene, as Deku's over like behind a pillar with Tex in his arms, he's like, as he's looking at heroes, he's shouting out to help us. As then the hero comes running over, and before you say anything, Deku like got shot in the leg is how that happened and how he fell. As the hero comes over and like grabs Deku, who's like, get off me, I gotta grab Tex. Not Tex, but Allison. As he's like, it's no time, she's goner, now move it. As the guy pretty much throws Deku all the way back. As with Deku like thrown back and like taken outside, he's like, I gotta get back in there, trying to shove past police and everything. As then an explosion goes off, he's like, he falls to the ground. He's like, no, covering his head. Tex, or Allison. Allison's mother, I believe Allison is Tex's real name, so Allison's parents and them hold a funeral and everything, and Deku's there. He's all sad and very depressed. She was his best friend and his girlfriend. She was one of the few people who actually cared for him and actually liked him. The bullying lets up after that. Bakugo hears about it and he backs off, giving Deku space and time, you could say. But a little bit after that, a few kids try to bully Deku. Oh god, they messed with the wrong dog. As then Deku, out of nowhere, just snaps as he grabs one by the face and actually smashes him into the wall. As then for the other two who were saying shit, he grabs the first one and hits his face on the desk. Then grabbing a chair and then hitting the other kid along with it. Bringing it down on the kid again and again. And somewhat of a blind rage. As the other people grab him. As they pulling him off him, he's like, let go of me, come on! As he's trying to struggle forward, yanking back and forth. As he's trying to use his enhancing strength and such to try and get, past his people. And there's about 3 people, and he's pushing past them a little bit. As Deku's trying to push past them, it's like, get off me, I'm gonna break his legs, get off me! As then several few, teachers and such are called in to, help get Deku under control. As then somebody at the end of it just knocks him out. That person being Bakugo. As he saw this explosion of anger, Bakugo's like, alright. As he just hits him right in the jaw, knocking him out. Jesus. These guys were... As people are starting, I can't believe Deku just lost it like that. He's like, they were the ones who messed with a dog. They were the ones messing with someone in grief. It may have been, a year. I'll say they're 16 by now. But that was still a messed up thing to do. Or, a few months, I'll say. As then Bakugo sits down quietly after that. After that, then the sludge villain happens. Deku's going on a roller coaster of emotions now. As with that being said, All Might still saves him, and Deku still questions, can he be a hero even with his weak quirks? As All Might says that as Deku explains his quirks and everything, All Might tells him that he doesn't think he can be a hero. As All Might originally told Deku he couldn't be a hero because his quirk, he didn't have a quirk. But with what he's heard about Deku's abilities, there's no way Deku could be a hero, even if he trained his hardest. Is what he thinks. As then Deku, after this, is broken. He feels every emotion. He's been somewhat quiet through the entire few months of schools. And with all those emotions built up, his mind just breaks. His mind shatters. Not in the sense he goes brain dead, but he just stays quiet and All Might leaves. The sludge villain doesn't get away. Deku just returns home, somewhat in his dazed state, as he just sits there laying in his bed just thinking, I'm tired. So tired. Every day it's the same thing. Get up, get beat down again and again. The only support there was Allison. And now she's gone. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I just wish I was gone. That's it, I'm done. Just leave me alone. As mentally he just breaks, like I've said. And that's where the AI, or what I'll be calling FI, will come in. As Deku just decides to, as he breaks, mentally, every aspect of the AIs come out. Delta, Sigma, Omega, Theta, Epsilon, all of them, they come out. As each of them, the first one to wake up is Epsilon. As Epsilon questions, where are we? Who is there? As then he hears a few other voices. Hello? As he hears like a somewhat echoing voice. As a bald man on fire like flashes in front of him, he's like, who are you? I do not know. I don't have a name. It's like, neither do I. As then they just hear a very deep and angry sounding growl as Omega appears before them. They're like, what? He's like, oof. As he looks around, just thinking, where are we? And then Theta, the childish, or the, what you could call the happiness or humanity of Bell, comes along. Who are you guys? As it looks up at them. Like these, not towering figures, but these larger figures in front of them. It's like, I don't know. As each one comes out just wondering, then there's Gamma. It's like, who are you? Who are we? I don't know. As when, then they just see a flash of light as Deku's eyes have opened. They're all there, and then Sigma thinks, what? As he floats to like the in front of it. As then he also does a psychic ability, astral projection, which in this case will just allow them to appear before people. As he appears outside, he's like, whoa. As he looks around the room, and he shouts for the rest of them to get out here, and that this is weird. Well, Theta's the one to do that, not Delta. As they're all looking around, they're like, where are we? I don't know. As several of them look around, Omega looks at the All Might picture and just feels anger. For some reason. Sigma feels this burning ambition, which I believe is what Sigma represents, is this burning desire to reach to where that person is. Theta feels happiness and feels an awe at the posters. And Delta feels nothing. He is logic. He is the thinking. And he feels that he can feel the analysis that Deku's somewhat done on heroes, as Deku didn't just focus on All Might, he focused on a myriad of heroes. As Delta starts looking at other pictures of heroes and starts getting this familiar feeling, in that he gets like somewhat flashes of what Deku had seen on the news or in real life, like Kamui Woods, like Chain Prison, Mountain Lady's Stomp, Death Arms, all of them. He's feeling Deku's knowledge and intelligence and calculations come into his head on how these quirks work and everything. Gamma feels, if I remember correctly, Gamma's like deceit or lying. He is the part of Deku that had lied to himself, saying, you can definitely become a hero, Deku. That's the part of Deku Gamma is, the lying part. The one that he had mentally deceived himself that he could become a hero. At least in his eyes. Tex fully believed in him, but Deku, Gamma is a result of that doubt, you could say. Now, for those of you who know, there are a lot of AI. There's also the twins, but I have no idea what they represent. I just know Gamma, Sigma, Delta, Theta, Omega, and Epsilon. Epsilon's like memories. But with the memories, Deku has locked himself away. The only things the AIs have come to understand is that this person is Deku, or this body, but they are something else. They aren't Deku. They're like his mind, his psyche. as as Delta starts drawing up on these words that he would say fit these descriptions. He doesn't know their meaning, he just knows this is where they are. This is where, like, how a sentence is formed. As then Theta, well, not Theta, but Delta starts looking through the computer. And I'll say he's able to, like, mess with technology, in the sense of, like, he can look things up. As he does it, and he starts going through as much knowledge, and he's able to process things much faster, since in the thing it explains AI, or FI in this case, experience time much slower than people. So with that being said, not Deku, but Delta's searching through all this knowledge and is absorbing more and more until he's understanding, like, college level and equations, even like equations to the sense that scientists use these on a regular basis, equations, like high level equations. Omega is just looking around and he just feels deep anger and hatred. Sigma recognizes the ambition to become a hero and become the number one. Theta wishes to spread happiness and such, sort of feeling that thing inside Deku that he wanted nobody to fear, like how All Might did. And Delta wants to become, well, like I said, he doesn't want anything. He's just logic. And in his mind, it is illogical to try and become a hero if you wish to have a long life. But it is logical if you want to make a lot of money. So he's on board. As they all like surround themselves in a circle, speaking with each other, talking about what they can recall and what they know. So they designate themselves. Delta designates him that so, as they all come up with their own names. Theta, Delta, Omega, Sigma, Gamma, and there you go. They will refer as not Theta, but Delta says we should, if anyone asks, what should we do? Gamma says that we should probably not tell them. Deku could put on, as he says, we could put on the facade of being whoever Deku. But Theta says lying is wrong. Sigma says Sigma says that if they are going to be heroes, if they are going to pursue Deku's dream, they should be saying who they are. But Delta, yes, says that he believes that it is logical. That it is logical to keep this information to themselves. That they shouldn't bring anyone else into it. That no one else should know. Not even Mother, as he refers to her, as in somewhat of a unsure tone, you could say. That Izuku is technically father? They don't know. They find it confusing terminology that they'll decide on later. As Inko's like, Izuku, you gotta go to school soon. As Deku's like, as they all look at each other, as Delta responds saying, okay, Mom, in sort of a monotone voice. As they're like, do we understand everything? He's like, I can get us through school. We should just not act out, alright? As they all agree to this, and they immediately go back into Deku's head, you could say. It's like Inside Out. As Delta takes control and puts himself in his outfit. Theta's like, I don't like this outfit, it's kind of a drag. As he would say, as Theta, the childish, says that it's like, but this is the standardized uniform for all high schools. For high schools in Deku's area and his class. As they're like taking the bus or train to school or whatever, or walking there, they're all talking in his head. They're like, we should all try to keep secret from now and try to not have any outbursts. Omega, if we run into any bullies, we are to not engage them. I have looked it up, and says that it is most proficient to avoid bullying if possible, and to just avoid them. Theta, don't do any outburst of emotion. It may draw attention. It's like, alright, Delta. Omega's like, oh, fine. As he then goes back to the very back of Deku's head, so like isolating himself. Sigma says we should aim for being top of the class. It would help our chances of being accepted into UA if we don't pass the entrance exams. It's like, how do you know about that? I do not know. I think it is part of the knowledge that is inside of all of us at a base level. I've talked with Omega, and he seems to know a lot about fighting. I know, and I feel the ambition and knowledge on what it takes to become a hero is what Sigma says. Delta says he has all the knowledge that Deku once had. They ask Gamma what does he know. He says Deku did not feel he could do it. He felt that someone else could, but her name I do not know. And Theta says, well, I know what all the stuff that makes him happy and such, and that what we should do to get people to like us. As he talks in like a high, tearful voice, he's like, well, Delta, that will become useful in further events if we truly do wish to pursue this path of the hero. But until then, we shall focus on this task. As then they get to school, and everyone somewhat stays clear of Deku after his little outburst. People are quiet around him, Deku is quiet himself, as when it says Izuku Midoriya, as in a monotone voice, it's like, here. And it's like, yes. As then, after that, they all leave and go to an isolated location. And they ask Delta, why are we here? It's like, to train and to have knowledge of our abilities, we should check on what they do. As it's like, well, alright. As then they all take part on ability. Sigma has control over the speed. Gamma has control over camouflage. Theta has control over shielding. Omega has control over strength. And Delta, give me a second. He has control over the regeneration bit. In the sense that he can calculate how much energy or like mental, how much physical like stamina it would take to regenerate the amount of wounds they have. And this is all like for his person. They can project the shields and such, but all the stuff only affects him. He speeds up. He gets super strength, that's all there is to it. As Gamma and them all find this stuff, but Deku's powers, since his mind's been broken, it's all dramatically increased, like 100-fold, in the sense that not Gamma, but Delta can calculate that they can go like over 100 miles per hour. Well, I don't know. How fast does Carolina go? I think she goes like maybe, I know she goes really fast. So I'll just say they go X amount of miles per hour. They also say they can lift several tons with their super strength as it is now. Like dozens of tons. The invisibility doesn't really have a time limit. And the shields, as Delta calculates Theta, you can do several things with the shields. Either one solitary shield or multiple moving ones. As they'll each train on this. But the catch is, each of them only one ability can be used at a single time. For them at least. That's what the ability comes down to. As for the physical drawbacks, it puts a strain on each AI for how long and how much power they put into their abilities. For instance, if Theta were to try to keep on absorbing attacks, like if if Theta had to like withhold the shield from All Might blow, like 100 All Might, like 12 to maybe like 50 All Might blows, she may just like go unconscious, like go. She'll just like be. I'll keep on saying she because the voice reminds me of a girl. But Theta, would just go offline. Gamma has a difficulty maintaining it if they're like moving a lot. But if they go very slowly, like in Halo games, God damn it. Gamma has a difficulty having like them moving around constantly, and him constantly trying to adapt to camouflage, keep on changing. There you go. Delta talks about how the strain on the regeneration unit isn't that effective in small amounts, but if he had to, like, say, heal a broken arm, it wouldn't be a big thing, like if it was just a one-time thing. But like 12 times in a row, yeah, then it would start being a problem. As for Omega, he says for his strength, it doesn't really put mental strain, but physical strain on Deku, as if his body can't withstand the amount of power he's putting out, he, the AI, as well as Deku's body would be hurt. And Sigma says, if he tries to go at their max speed for more than a minute or so, similar to Ida's Recipro Burst, he may, like, Deku may just run out, may just, like, fall, because of all the energy. Well, not Deku, but, Sigma would fall unconscious due to the amount of energy he's exerting. Is what the conclusions they come to after running tests for several hours. Allison's parents are still in mourning, and Deku's mom, Inko, is worried about him. As then they hear as they look over and see the phone as they answered, "Oh, Izuku, baby, where are you? It's like almost time to eat." As but Delta answers in a monotone voice. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm on my way." As he hangs up. Inko was about to say, "And Izuku," as then Delta hung up. As Theta's like, "What are you doing?" She was about to say something else. "We received the information that was necessary." Omega says, "Do not hang up on her." He's like, "That is very rude. You are not supposed to be rude to our mother." It's like, are you talking about Izuku's mother? Yes. Do not be rude to her. And do not cause her distress. As Omega finds that enraging. As they return home and as they try to hold a conversation with Inko, but they're pretty quiet throughout the thing as they're like eating the food, they themselves actually feel the taste. As they're like, Delta's like, "This is tasty." Omega and such, "Yeah. Her cooking is always good, don't you know that?" Sigma's like, "Yes, indeed." Theta's like, "Oh, this is so good," like a more childish reaction. Gamma's like, "This is the best food ever." With that being said, now what happens is, well, that's where I'm going to be ending it off on for now. I hope y'all have enjoyed this. Hope y'all continue to enjoy this. Hope y'all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.